Most people plan their Nova Scotia trips around famous towns, but the moment our family remembers actually happened in places we didn't plan at all. We stumbled across them along the way. On our recent road trip from Ontario to Nova Scotia, we discovered quiet coastal towns, incredible seafood, and one lighthouse view that I will never forget. Let me tell you all about that. Hi, my name is TJ from Travel Muse Company. I work with families who want meaningful travel experiences, but don't always have the time or the energy to plan them themselves. Travel to me has always been about connection. Connection with the places that we visit and with the people that we travel with. Recently, our family drove from Ontario to Nova Scotia, and it reminded me why road trips can be one of the most rewarding ways to travel, especially for families. Traveling across Canada gives you a very different perspective on travel. It's slower, it's more intentional, and it creates space for conversation and discoveries that don't happen when you're rushing through an airport. Our plan was to drive through New Brunswick to St. John's, and then we took the Fundy Rose ferry across to Digby, Nova Scotia. This way it saved us hours of driving around the bend. We got to see some dolphins swimming alongside the ferry as well. With road trips, the journey itself becomes part of the experience. Our first stop was Digby. If you've never heard of Digby scallops, they're actually considered some of the best in the world. They are grown in the Bay of Fundy, where the tides are among the highest on earth. And that environment actually gives them that sweet, delicate flavor. For the first time, we actually stayed in a small bed and breakfast. Our family hasn't done that before. And it actually completely changed the feel of the whole trip. Instead of feeling like we were travelers passing through, we felt welcomed into the community. And the breakfast the next morning, well, we love some eggs Benedict, and we actually had eggs Benedict topped with Digby scallops. And honestly, it was so delicious and unforgettable. One of our favorite parts of traveling through Atlantic Canada is exploring small towns along the way. And during this trip, we drove to a very quiet community called Black River. It was peaceful, it was natural, it was just simply beautiful. It had small local shops, the river view, and all of that was like a kind of place where you immediately felt the slower pace of life. These are the places that don't always appear on travel itineraries, but they often end up being the moments that shape the trip. It did for us, at least. One of the most memorable moments of the trip happened near Yarmouth for me. I think so for my husband and my daughter as well. We had stopped at Cape Fouchou Lighthouse, sitting high on a hill overlooking the Atlantic Ocean. Standing there, you could see the water stretching endlessly towards the horizon. No buildings, no crowds, just ocean. And if you look directly below the hill, there was something very fascinating there. You can't see it from the ground. It was a skeleton of a whale displayed along the shoreline. It was one of those unexpected discoveries that made us all pause and just kind of take it in. Afterwards, we went and had lunch at the Cape Fouchou Cafe. It's actually in the Lighthouse, and you could still overlook the ocean. Moments like that are impossible to plan, but they often become the most memorable part of travel. If you're thinking about planning a trip like this, I actually created a free Nova Scotia itinerary that highlights must-sees and quieter places to visit. You can download it using the link in the description below. Another highlight of our Nova Scotia trip was visiting Lunenburg. If you've never been there, it's one of the most beautiful historic towns in Canada. It's also home to the Blue Nose. the legendary racing schooner that appears on the Canadian 10-cent coin. The town has colorful waterfront buildings, sailing boats in the harbor, and a maritime history that you can feel as you walk through the streets. It's the kind of place where you can spend hours simply exploring or sailing as well. One thing this trip reminded me of is how valuable slow travel can be for families. Many of the families I work with tell me they're looking for vacations that feel meaningful instead of rushed. They want time together, and road trips create that space. You know, having conversations in the car, spontaneously stopping at places, and discovering things you didn't expect. Sometimes the most meaningful travel experience happen when we simply give ourselves time. As a travel professional, I find that experiences like this are a reminder of why thoughtful travel planning matters. The most memorable trips often include the moments you didn't originally think about. The quiet coastal towns, the local meals, the scenic views. Helping families discover those experiences is one of the things I love most about my work. If you've thought about exploring Canada's East Coast, Nova Scotia is an incredible place to start. Grab my free Nova Scotia itinerary that highlights must-see and quieter places to visit. You can download it using the link in the description below. If you're dreaming about your next family trip, but feel overwhelmed by where to begin, that's exactly where I help. Thanks for watching. If you enjoy travel stories and planning tips like this, make sure to subscribe for more. Take care.